Yo, 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 what is going on, everybody? What's going on? What's going on? We're live right now on YouTube, Rumble, Twitter, or X, as some of you all still like to call it. I ain't never switching. And we are live right now also on Rockfin. I don't know if y'all heard, but there was some crazy news that happened. Yeah, man, it's been a week. It's been a week. And I'm gonna talk about my theories because I feel like a lot of people are letting their biases come into play without actually thinking about the bigger picture here. Because, there are people who don't like Trump and don't plan on voting for Trump, and that is understandable. But there are also people who are downplaying this. There's some people who think that this is strictly theater. There's a question of whether or not this is a false flag. Obviously, there are a lot of people who don't actually know what a false flag is. So there's that we have to deal with. But today, we're going to do a quick breakdown of what we know and what we don't know, what my personal opinion is. And of course, I want to hear yours as well. We're going to do a quick breakdown. And then tomorrow, y'all know I usually do my Mimosa Monday show. However, we're going to mix that with an analysis of this attempt on Trump's life. So we're going to do a more in-depth breakdown. We're going to watch more clips, more videos, et cetera, but we're also going to mix it with our normal Mimosa Monday show. So we got like 600, 700 new subscribers in the last 24 hours. So I feel like, to let you all know, first of all, welcome if you are one of the new people who have shown up in the last couple of days. This is For the People podcast. And you should know that the analysis I'm about to give, I don't support Trump. I also don't support Biden. However, my analysis regarding both is always objective. Where there's criticism necessary, I give it. Where there's a defense, I give that. But regardless of whatever I'm talking about regarding politicians or politics is always going to be objective. And this story is going to be no different because, like I said, the narratives that I've seen online, I feel like they're just ideologically convenient. I feel like it's very easy for us to fall into a trap of assuming this was a quote unquote false flag and not a genuine attempt on Trump's life. I saw yesterday that people were saying, "Oh, well, nobody died. If somebody really tried to kill Trump, why didn't anybody die?" Well, somebody did, and 2 others were critically injured. I say, like, y'all should probably wait before y'all come out and say that, because we didn't get any information, right? I said yesterday also that once I saw the video, I'm like, that's a high power rifle. Why was that even allowed in the perimeter? Some people were trying to discount that. And then it came out that it was actually a high powered rifle. And other people had questions as to why, like officials had questions as to why it wasn't necessarily allowed into the event, but it was allowed in the perimeter, which is different, but still shouldn't, given Secret Service was there, given police officers were there. And I'm assuming at least some of Trump's personal security. But it shouldn't have been able to breach the perimeter. So there is a lot of stuff to break down. Like I said, I'm curious as to what your thoughts are, but I'm definitely going to give mine. Rancid Bunny, thank you very much. Before we get started, thank you very much for the super chat. What's going on? Kat said, how the hell did the Secret Service miss the roofs on the building? Exactly. Ubik said it's not staged. Rutherford says it seems like it's staged. James says that the false flag theory is very unlikely. 1, the guy on a blind spot. Plus 2, the attacker seem to have had mental issues. Plus 3, the attack was not only targeting Trump, but to the general audience as well. That would lead me to assume Yeah, the general audience part, because once Trump hit the floor and was behind the podium and you couldn't see him, he kept firing. So it looked like there was an attempt to also kill audience members, not just Trump. Now I will say that doesn't necessarily make it not a false flag, if y'all get what I'm saying, because some people confuse the definition of false flag as in it was something that didn't happen or the bullets or blood was fake, things like that. But that's not necessarily what a false flag means. So if you're going to ask me right now, do I believe this is a false flag or do I believe this is a genuine attempt on Trump's life? I'm going to lean towards genuine attempt on Trump's life. So let me just go ahead and get that part out the way. There's several reasons for that. There seems to have been some amnesia that's gone on within the independent community in the political world. We just witnessed 2 weeks of Biden basically shitting himself. And the Democrats are in disarray because of it, right? 2 weeks, guys, since the debate, Biden has been mumbling and bumbling, calling Zelensky Putin, calling Trump his vice president. The polls, as far as Biden is concerned, have been abysmal. I don't know if Trump has ever been up by this much at any point, going up against Hillary or Biden. So it doesn't serve Trump because some people are saying that Trump did this as a publicity stunt, like that he was trying to secure his vote. Why? Why would he need to do that? He's at a pole position right now that is damn near a guaranteed victory. He doesn't need to do this. This would not help him in any significant way. Do you get what I'm saying? He was already ahead. He was ahead before the debate. Further ahead after the debate. Further ahead after the blunders from the last couple of weeks. And let's be honest, that NATO conference and then the press conference following, it sealed the deal for a lot of people. Like that was either they were going to vote for Trump or at the bare minimum, they weren't voting for Biden, which in a sense is kind of a vote for Trump because the establishment is doing everything in its power to stop Jill Stein from becoming a legitimate challenger to the duopoly in this particular election. So why would Trump need to do that? It does not benefit him in any way, form, or fashion. Now, this is with me fully acknowledging that for the most part, I want to be clear, for the most part, Trump and Biden both play for the same team, right? They both play for the duopoly. For the most part, Trump and Biden both do the will of the establishment. But there is one thing that has been made clear for the last almost 8 years. We can acknowledge that they both, for the most part, play for the establishment, but we can also acknowledge beyond a shadow of a doubt, the establishment, and more specifically, the globalist elite, have a preference. They have a preference, right? What was the argument that I've made over and over and over and over again since before Biden got elected? Whenever they put Biden up, because in 2019, Zelensky and Trump were working together with the prosecutor from Ukraine to prosecute all the people who were involved in the corruption under the Obama and Biden administration. And then all of a sudden, Biden enters the race. Why? Because that is a lot of people, y'all. Not just in Ukraine. If they work together to prosecute people in Ukraine, it isn't just Ukrainians that are getting prosecuted or at least getting investigated. It brings to light all the corruption from the politicians and the elite from the US, which is why Biden got involved, right? Then they impeached Trump, accusing him of what Biden was literally guilty of. This is a fact. Trump never threatened Zelensky. And you know how, and it's funny because I always bring this up and everybody kind of just glosses over. I'm like, if if Trump really threatened Zelensky, why didn't they just call Zelensky to the impeachment hearing to confirm it? Because Zelensky said it wasn't true. And they can't be like, well, we were worried about Zelensky's life. You were really that worried? Because y'all invite Zelensky every 2 goddamn weeks now to give him money for a war that he can't win. So we know for a fact that Biden entered the race to shield the Democratic elite, I call the Atlantic Council people, right? The globalist elite, whatever you want to call them. He got into the race to shield them from the consequences of their corruption because they were about to get exposed. With Burisma, the 2014 Maidan coup, all of it was about to get exposed. Because remember, before Zelensky became a coked out puppet, he actually ran on exposing that corruption, and he was on the path to doing so. And then if y'all recall, whenever Biden won, one of the first things I said was, damn, that's it for Zelensky. He's going to do whatever they tell him to do, or that's it for him. They're going to take him out. It's the first thing I said because I knew what time it was. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because the globalist elite clearly have a preference. Obviously, the Democratic establishment has a preference, but the globalist elite have a preference. The biggest problem with Biden replacing Trump was the fact that Trump was still bad. Trump bombed Syria. Operation Warp Speed happened, right? Trump was still giving weapons to Saudi Arabia, and they were then giving weapons to extremists to commit genocide in Yemen. That still happened. He assassinated Soleimani, or at least was complicit in the assassination of Soleimani. That still happened. But as bad as Trump might have been in many areas, they were like, you're not bad enough for us. Not consistently. You are too unpredictable, and we can't work with that. Whenever Trump brought Kim Jong-un and President Moon from South Korea together, they lambasted him. They were pissed at him for it. Do you guys remember that? Which is bizarre. You would think that if they want peace in their area, that would be a good thing. Whenever he actually signed and approved sanctions against Russia, they pretended as if he never did it. They kept trying to push the narrative that Russia was trying to cheat on his behalf and pretended he never did it. But he actually approved sanctions. I was pissed about it. I'm like, bro, what? Come on, dog. Don't let them bully you into putting sanctions against Russia for something you know they didn't do. Because if for the reason that they're wanting to put these sanctions against Russia directly implicates you in the accusations. Why would you even give credence to that? But he did. But even with all that, they're like, you're not consistently horrible enough. You're not consistently bad enough on these issues. So they bring in Biden. They bring in somebody from the Democratic Leadership Council. They bring in somebody they can trust. They bring in somebody who has the network, the apparatus to protect them. The Ukraine-Russia war did not start under Trump. I know that people seem to forget that because they always want to try to throw the Nazi label at him or his supporters. But the Nazis weren't funded by Trump. They were funded by Biden. The Ukraine war started under Biden. Hell, as bad as Trump was on Israel and Palestine, the genocide that we're seeing right now did not start under Trump. It started under Biden. October 7th happened under Biden. The faulty defense that really wasn't the effort that really wasn't there to defend against October 7th happened under Biden. Despite both the United States and Israel being aware that it was going to happen. And we know that after October 7th, that was used to do what? To carry out this genocide. They have a preference. They have a preference. And the preference is, see, if you don't want to call it Biden, well, let's just call it predictability. Maybe it isn't Biden that they want, but they want predictability. At least Kamala would be predictable. Biden obviously is, he can't, you can't predict what he's going to say for obvious reasons, but you can predict what his staff will do. You can, he can't do anything anyway. So whoever is really in control can do what they want to without pushback. So my point is that there's nothing to gain for Trump or faking this. I know some people believe that it's fake, but there's nothing to gain for him. There was absolutely nothing. And to be honest, guys, let's just think about the last 3.5 years of the failed coup attempts, right? Let's think about Niger, how Biden and ECOWAS and all of them were threatening the military and the people that liberated Niger from ECOWAS and the French, and all that talking they did only to not do anything, right? You can even look at this failed Bolivian coup, right? We can look at all Russia, Ukraine. It's failure on top of failure on top of failure. Hell, even this Democratic primary in and of itself, this election. You try to tell me that a shooter trying to take out Trump misses by this much and actually ends up making him a living, breathing martyr isn't perfectly on brand for Biden and everything that they've done? Every time Biden tries to do something, or his administration or his allies, they just make the whole situation worse. They just literally make it worse. This is the most on brand outcome for the globalist elite, the Democratic establishment, whoever you want to call it. But anybody who's been working for Biden, or anybody who's been watching Biden, can see this actually makes perfect sense. Actually, this is exactly what I would expect from Biden. They tried to set up a debate where they thought it was going to make Biden look great and make Trump look horrible, and it ended up doing the opposite. They tried to set up a press conference or set up these meet and greets where they thought it was going to make Biden look. They thought they were going to show off Biden's mental acuity, and it did the opposite. This is literally. This is on brand for Biden. This is on brand for his people. Not to mention they've tried to take out Trump. They tried to assassinate his character, his credibility. They try to take him out in courts. They've done everything up to this point to try and take him out. It's not working. Nothing is working anymore. And they're stuck with the Parkinson's man. Dementia Joe. Like, this actually makes perfect sense. And what's even crazier about this is the fact that tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow is the Republican convention. Did y'all know that? That's not actually being discussed a lot. So, for those of you who do not know, if Trump was taken out yesterday, do you all know who has the second most delegates and who would likely walk away the Republican nominee tomorrow if Trump was taken out? Nikki Haley, ladies and gentlemen. Nikki Haley would be the Republican nominee. Nikki Haley isn't popular enough to beat herself, her shadow, in a general election, people. I could put my 4-month-old son up against Nikki Haley and he will win in a landslide. But either way, if Biden stays in, well, Nikki Haley isn't really that much of a threat. But if she wins, the policies are literally no different. It's actually the same person. I mean, Nikki Haley don't really got an excuse because she doesn't have Parkinson's or dementia. She's just stupid because she's stupid. But It's effectively the same person. You get Nikki Haley or Kamala, it is the same person. I mean, ironically, the same person, right? Literally, one all of a sudden stopped pretending to be Indian because she's pretending to be black, and Nikki Haley, the other one who stopped pretending to be Indian because she wanted to be white so bad. That's like you really couldn't fucking write a script that ironic. In other words, for those of you who are like, nah, this is a Trump thing, this is a false flag, it only no. It doesn't only benefit the Democrats. If he was taken out, it does not only benefit the Democrats. Nikki Haley benefits the globalists. There are Republicans who don't like Trump. There are Mitt Romney Republicans, Liz Cheney Republicans, Anna Navarro Republicans, Dick Cheney, you know, he's dead, but I'm just saying, like, those, they're out there. A lot of them. Did y'all forget those neocons? Yeah, the ones who will scream about how they hate Biden, but then pass the worst measures that Biden puts forth when it comes to foreign policy. And there would be so there would be nobody to replace him because Nikki Haley has the most. She has like 9. Basically, Trump has the rest of the delegates, and then Nikki Haley is second place. But she's second place. There's a huge distance between her and Trump. But then there's a huge distance between her and everybody else. She would win. There is nobody else. They can't hold the primary over. They're not going to do it. So you saw the Democrats' problem. Yeah, if Trump's taken out. Because now we can replace Biden if we want to. And we're not worried about the popularity of Trump beating any other candidate that we replace Biden with. But you also, which is probably the more important thing in the ultimate goal, you saw the globalist problem, which is we deal with Trump's unpredictability, because the thing that makes Biden the most dangerous is honestly kind of the thing that makes Trump the most dangerous. It actually does scare me a little bit. It does scare me a little bit for both of them. But like I said, Trump's chaotic unpredictability sometimes works in our favor, sometimes it doesn't. But it's 4 more years of a vindictive Trump, and he has nothing to lose anymore, because there is no other election if he wins this. So one of two things can happen. He could do everything right for the most part, foreign policy wise, domestic policy, even to some degree. He could do everything right without any fear, because I don't have to worry about what's happening in 4 years. I could cut aid to Ukraine right now and end this war, which he said he wants to do. Right? He does not, him and Zelensky, they don't get along. Who does the Russia-Ukraine war benefit? Globalist elite, Biden, Democrats. Between the two candidates, Trump is the only one who is actually openly criticizing Netanyahu in the way that he's been waging this war, in the way that he continues to do so. And, I mean, Trump is a Zionist, but he's criticized Netanyahu. Why? Because Trump is unpredictable, and waging unlimited war, especially a war where you don't look like you're going to win or lose, you're just waging it to wage it. For him, that he don't want to be associated with a loser. That's bad publicity. That's how he is. That's just how he is, man. And what makes it all the more strange to me, and how you got it, and how it ties back into how this benefits not just Democrats, but the globalist elite, the global establishment, is the fact that you got videos out there, and we're going to show all this stuff tomorrow, by the way. Because like I said, we're going to show the clips and everything like that tomorrow. I don't have that much time. I got to go on Mother of All Talk Shows with George Galloway at 5, I think it's 5:20. Oh, 3:20 Eastern time. So, but we're going to show all that stuff tomorrow. But we got clips of people literally shouting, yo, the shooter's right here. Here's the shooter, guys. The shooter, the dude literally said Secret Service was on the roof and they were looking at him, point at the shooter, not budging. The police didn't do anything. This man had an AR. He was crawling, and multiple people were. There's one video where a guy's telling the story. I'm thinking like maybe he's like, "Hey guys, there's a shooter." Nah, this man. You can see the other video, by the way, and it's on my YouTube channel. It's in the. If you go to the short section, it's on my YouTube channel. You can. The people are screaming. There is a guy with a gun, and he said the one who was interviewed by BBC. He said, "I don't understand why Trump is still speaking." And he's correct, because once that happens, somebody makes a radio and everybody's on the same channel, and immediately it would be stopped. I've been part. I was when I was in the Army, I was part of an event like that for Joe Biden. Unfortunately, was on duty. I didn't have a choice, but everybody is connected. They had local police, Fayetteville Police Department, Sheriff's Department there, military police, and even other people, like just regular military guys, as part of the duty. And not everybody has a radio, but all the people who need to have a radio have one, because you have constant communication. So the moment that happened, there should have been a call to Secret Service to have Trump step down until they secure the position. And everybody's like, well, it was a blind spot. Well, it was this or there was a that. Well, that won't make any sense, because then how did a Secret Service sniper get him in the head? Which means the sniper should have seen him. You get what I'm saying, y'all? Like the sniper was he had vision. He had clear enough vision to shoot this man in the head very soon after he let off those shots, but didn't see him climbing up on the roof, didn't see him crawling, didn't hear anybody screaming, didn't hear none of that. That's a little bizarre, don't you think? Now, I tweeted out yesterday, it's kind of weird to me that Trump would solely allow for Secret Service. I said it back in the day whenever RFK was asking for Secret Service, when RFK Jr. I was like, I mean, it's a big deal that the U.S. doesn't want to give it to him, but I wouldn't necessarily want Secret Service from the U.S. anyway. They don't really work for the president, guys. They work beside the president. I think that JFK might agree, right? I think that RFK Sr. would probably agree. They don't work for the president. They work beside the president. And whenever someone tells them, move out the way, yes, sir. Because ain't no way somebody got in that hole with the AR, climbed the roof, got the set up, and just started unloading shots. I mean, it would be different if he got to get off the shots before anyone alerted law enforcement. But like I said, we're gonna show all that stuff tomorrow. But the dude was showing he said that I was screaming and pointing for at least 2-3 minutes that this guy was getting set up, that this guy had a gun, that this guy was climbing the roof, that Secret Service was on the roof. They saw it, and they saw him screaming. The police heard him and saw him screaming. No one stopped it. No one stopped it. No one stopped. Come on, guys. And for people that are like, they wouldn't do an inside job again. Why not? Do y'all forget why Andrew McCabe got fired? Andrew McCabe, former acting director of the FBI, deputy director of the FBI, working with the FBI and the CIA on behalf of Hillary Clinton to effectively accuse Trump of treason. People forgot that happened. There was already an inside job from the intelligence community to get Trump prosecuted for treason, for working with Putin to overthrow the 2016 election. And everybody just forgot about that. That happened, y'all. And all this talk about there's no place for political violence in the country. Nah, that's a lie. It's laughable too. It's laughable that Hillary and Obama. Well, actually, I don't know if Hillary actually tweeted out anything, but Bill Clinton, Obama, all these people. There's no place for political violence in this country. The U.S. is not a place for political violence. That's a lie. Okay, yeah, it's a whole lie. The U.S. is known for political violence. The U.S., if they're not explicitly sanctioning the political violence, they're complicit or condoning it. This is the same United States where Martin Luther King was killed. The U.S. government was found guilty of it. Until this day, they haven't even offered an official statement, apology, acknowledgement, nothing. That same United States, the same United States where Fred Hampton, where it was clearly a conspiracy because the police fired 90 times into Fred Hampton's apartment to kill Fred Hampton, one of the co-founders of the Black Panthers, because of what he was doing, bringing the Black community and the poor white community together to work on class issues and to put race aside. And not only were those police never prosecuted, but the Black Panthers that were in the house shooting back because police didn't even enter. They shot from outside. So the Black Panthers started shooting back because duh, what else am I supposed to do? I'm defending myself. The two Black Panthers that were shooting back that hit officers, they got prosecuted for attempted murder. But not the officers that walked up and just started shooting blindly into Fred Hampton's house. This is the same government that still has not released the JFK papers. Because if this is not a place for political violence, I would assume that they would be very transparent with all the political violence that happened to make sure that it doesn't happen again, right? That's what I would assume. Is that not a fair assumption? We are in the same country, ladies and gentlemen, that they didn't try to assassinate RFK once. If I'm not mistaken, they did it twice. They obviously were successful the second time, but they tried to assassinate RFK twice. It's the same country that sets up political assassinations all over the world. In the case of Hillary Clinton and Gaddafi, for example, brag about it. The same country that helped facilitate a coup in Bolivia that led to the deaths of thousands of innocent people because it was a military coup. And Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz were helping to facilitate that coup. Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz helped to facilitate that coup. It is well known at this point. And to be real, we already know how it goes. Every time you get the tweets where everyone is echoing the same sentiment, we always know it is the opposite to be true, right? When all the political elites are reading from the same script, the opposite to be true. Oh, there's no place for political violence in this country. Yeah, y'all know it's the total opposite. Bill Clinton had the audacity to tweet something out, but you know, he turned off his comments. Because he know better. Because boy, I was about to jump up in them comments. Boy, I was about to jump up in them comments. Sparky, the Jack Rue bead him. I don't know what that is. I don't know what Jack Rue is. But I'm sure somebody will get it. But my point is not only this is not just a place where political violence is okay. It's a place where the U.S. government officially sanctions it. We're all but 100% certain the CIA is behind JFK's murder, behind RFK's murder, Malcolm X's murder. The government was found guilty officially for MLK's murder, conspired to murder Malcolm X. It's not just okay, it is the norm in the United States. And the political violence is normally coming from the inside. It's rare. It is very rare that the political violence is to civilians, to random citizens, or even groups of citizens. That's very rare. Right? When we look at what happened on January 6th, this is from people who are on the ground. There was no political violence until the cops started throwing tear gas and then popped Ashley Babbitt in the head. And then what happened? We found out the FBI knew about all this in advance, failed to do anything about it. Congress knew about what was going to take place in advance, didn't do anything about it. We saw the cops let them in, literally rolled out the red carpet for those people to get let in. And then they tried to say that they were trespassing and breaking and entering. And that's why Ashley Babbitt got killed by that cop. That's bullshit. She was not a threat at all. And it's just weird that he only killed that one. Right? You killed the one random white woman without a gun, just walking by. Not only are we accustomed to political violence in the US, but it's usually political violence that is done on behalf and from inside the United States government. So no, I do not believe that it was a false flag. I do believe that there was a genuine attempt on Trump's life. I do believe that this last week, the last 2 weeks, the Democrats are just, not just the Democrats, all the elites that work for the Democrats, all the elite who are protected by Biden's presence in the White House. I've talked about this over and over and over again. There are levels to this. There are levels to this. There's a reason that there's been somebody from the Democratic Leadership Council always attached to every single Democratic, not even just administration, every Democratic presidential nominee has, the vice presidential nominee or the presidential nominee has always been a member of the DLC that was formed by the Clintons in the late 80s or 90s. Every single one. Do you know why? Because there are levels to this. Kamala Harris might be corrupt, and she might be willing to play the game, but that's not the same thing as I can literally do a soft coup of Haiti, which is what the Clintons did via the Clinton Foundation. I can do a soft coup of an entire country, and no one can do anything about it and profit off of it. And no one can. That's their levels to this. Kamala ain't got that type of clout, right? Biden and Clinton really can do what they did in Ukraine via Burisma, the Maidan coup. Make Ukraine their private money laundering scheme. Even give weapons to neo-Nazis and train them. And never be held accountable for it. And if someone tries to hold you accountable for it, they get fired or put on a kill list. Like I said, there are levels to this. Kamala don't got that. Kamala don't have that. Gavin Newsom does not have that. Gretchen Whitmer does not have that. Hell, even Andrew Cuomo, he won't ever get the chance to run anymore. But remember, there was a point where they were talking, Andrew Cuomo, he a damn near mafia boss. He don't have that. Biden does. Hillary does. Bill did. There are levels to this. And with the ability to get away with that type of corruption comes the ability to protect everyone who participated and gained from that corruption. There is nobody left to beat Trump, and they've just spent the last 8 years making this man's life hell. A man who, I dare to say, is probably a little pissed off and feeling a little bit vindictive, especially considering he, which against his better judgment and the better judgment of literally everybody else, decided not to prosecute Hillary. his Justice Department decided to let Andrew McCabe get fired, but that's about it. James Comey and Andrew McCabe and everyone who conspired to effectively overthrow the damn president of the United States, which is insane that I'm even saying that out loud, but that's exactly what happened. If you've read the report, then you know that's what happened. If you were following at the time, you know that's what happened. That's why Andrew McCabe got fired. He wasn't fired because was it? I think his name was Rubenstein. Didn't like him. Rubenstein didn't like Trump. They should have all been. They should have all went to jail, but they did not because Trump was trying to play politics, right? But they repaid him by going even harder and trying to take him out. Y'all get what I'm saying? Like, he's probably pissed, and they know it. Trump is heated. They've been dragging this man through the ringer, not only while he was president, but ever since, because they knew that he was going to run again. And they get more and more desperate because Biden becomes less and less electable. And there is no one else who can beat him. There's nobody else. Nobody that they would want. And nobody that they would allow, rather. There are people that could run the Democratic Party and beat him, but they would never allow it. There are third-party candidates who, if they had fair chances, they could probably give him a run for their money or a run for his money, but they would never. Democrats work with Republicans to make sure that third-party candidates had no chance. So they made their bed, and instead of laying in it, they decided they were going to try to turn their bed into a coffin and put Trump inside. That's what happened. So that's my 2 cents about it. I feel like it was not a false flag. I feel like it was probably an inside job. When you consider how the Secret Service just let that slide. Also, the Secret Service has a habit of letting these things happen. Like, God, they suck at their job, or it's intentional. When you look at the videos, which, like I said, we're going to play them tomorrow for Mimosa Monday. We're going to talk about that. When you look at who benefits, when you look at what could have been, once again, the angle that no one is talking about, and I've yet to hear anybody else bring up, Nikki Haley would have been his replacement. So you get globalist piece of shit imperialist or globalist piece of shit imperialist. Those would have been your options. I mean, obviously not literally, but basically, because right now they're waging war against Jill Stein. The president is like literally it's the White House. His administration is waging war against Jill Stein. They're even keeping her money that they're supposed to give her, that they're supposed to match her with. So like, and obviously they don't even like RFK Jr. So it would have effectively been piece of shit imperialist versus piece of shit imperialist, regardless of whether or not they took Trump out and put Kamala in. There is no difference between Kamala and Nikki Haley. Jesus Christ. There is zero difference between Kamala and Nikki Haley. Except for the fact that Kamala's half black and the fact that Nikki Haley wants to be white. That's it. And they both, tap dance for the man. That's about it, man. But that's it. That they would have had Nikki Haley, bro. This shit would have been crazy. But if Nikki Haley runs, you all do know, like, that would have been the ultimate green light to replace Biden, because Kamala could probably beat Nikki Haley. We don't know, really, but all of a sudden, Kamala looks a lot more electable. If you're going to go with the identity politics angle, Kamala looks a lot more electable because all of a sudden she's going to get back into her Southeast Asian bag. Guys, I'm very proud of both of my cultures, both my Black and my Southeast Asian culture. And I'm also a woman. And I'm going to continue. I got to finish off the job for Biden. And Nikki Haley is just like a warmonger who has zero conversation about domestic issues. right? And if you're not gonna talk about domestic issues at all, you're probably not going to win if it's going to be identity politics versus identity politics. That's just reality. So, we'd love to know what y'all think about this, man. Like this video, share this video, subscribe if you have not yet. Shout out to all the new subscribers. Go check me out in about 20 minutes on Moats, Mother of All Talk Shows with George Galloway. Gonna have a great conversation there. And he got a lineup tonight. He got me, Rachel Blevins, and Garland Nixon are all on tonight. So I'm excited. It's gonna be a great conversation. So like this video, share this video. Tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, we are doing most of Mondays. It's gonna be a little bit unique. It's gonna be a little bit unique for but we're gonna do our Mimosa Mondays because to get through this Trump thing and to get to all these videos, bro. I'm gonna need some mimosa. So for the homies who can't, I got you. All right. So like this video, share this video, leave a comment below, subscribe, but always remember, more than anything else, find your balance. Peace.